So you're a musician and you want to get money from SAMRO and you haven't received a cent. So this video, I plan on sharing 5 possible reasons why you haven't received any money from SAMRO. The very first one, you are not fully registered with SAMRO. I find it a lot that musicians will come and say, I have sent forms, but I haven't received any correspondence or email or communication from SAMRO. So this probably means that the process hasn't been finalized for your registration purposes. You will know that you're registered once you receive your SAMRO relation number, which is almost like an ID number within SAMRO's system. You want to make sure that you have registered, and you should be using the online platform on SAMRO's website to register yourself. Do not use the forms anymore because there tends to be mistakes when people read the forms and put it on a computer. So using the online registration platform will help minimize any errors that could possibly take place. The very next thing, once you have registered with SAMRO, you want to make sure that every time you release music, you send a notification of works. A notification of works is basically saying, SAMRO, this is my song, this is how long the song is, these are the people that own the copyright of this song. You do this by using the SAMRO portal, and I've done various videos showing you how to get onto there and how to actually do your notification of works. If you do not do your notification of works correctly, then you will most definitely not get the money from every song or the songs that have been used. So make sure you send your notification of works. Speaking of notification of works, I have a product that gives you publisher agreements and also split sheets. If you are working with multiple musicians, then I highly recommend you get this. I will leave it in the description below and on the screen somewhere. So don't forget to get the Mzantsi publisher agreements. Another reason you haven't received money from SAMRO is because your music hasn't been used enough. SAMRO collects from entities, takes an administration fee, and then pays rights holders those performance royalties. So if your music is only being played on your computer at home or at house parties that aren't registered, then you will not get the royalties because those entities are not telling SAMRO and they're not licensed venues. So your music hasn't been used enough. Your objective should be try and get your music into platforms, particularly TV, sync, and radio, and try and get your music onto there because those are the 2 most paying categories that SAMRO pays out for. The next thing, even though your music has been used a lot, sometimes your music is being used by an entity that doesn't pay a lot of royalties or not at all. There are a lot of online platforms such as internet radios, internet platforms that use music, but those entities may not be paying royalties depending on how their licensing structure has been worked out with SAMRO, or if they're not even registered with SAMRO or another PRO. So you may be getting 10,000 radio plays on an online platform that nobody knows about, but if they're not registered with a PRO or with SAMRO, then you most likely will not get any royalties. It's also something that you have to consider, that if you had to pay to play, you most likely won't be getting royalties because you're paying yourself effectively and the system wasn't structured in that way, in theory anyway. So make sure your music is being used by licensed users. Another reason you're not receiving any money is because you are out of the distribution cycle. A distribution cycle is SAMRO basically pays you at a set time within the year, and you have to be within the 6 months of that pay period. So usually royalties take time to go through from the administration of the licensed user, then it goes to SAMRO. SAMRO verifies the data and then it makes its way to you as a musician. So SAMRO can only do that within 6 or even as high as 18 months, depending on where the royalties are coming from. So if you're making money overseas, then that takes a lot longer for the money to make it to you. So for example, I got one of my music pieces used in the UK, and that was almost 18 months ago. I'll only receive those royalties roughly within this period. But if you're getting something shorter term like radio, those tend to be 6 months or 12 months from when it was played until it gets finalized within SAMRO and makes it to you. You can check the distribution schedule on the SAMRO website, and it shows you when they will be paid. And if you haven't been paid on that distribution cycle, the best thing is to call SAMRO or use the appointment method within their website. The last reason why you haven't been paid is because you haven't broken the payment threshold. So SAMRO typically requires you to have earned more than 100 Rand, and if you have earned 99.4, then you won't get paid by SAMRO because you're below that threshold. You'll have to keep pushing to make sure that your music finally generates more than 100 Rand. But it's realistically not so difficult. You just need a few minutes on a radio station and you should be getting over 100 Rand. But what I want to highlight, if you are able to track your plays, particularly for radio, using Radio Monitor or Warm Music, then you can definitely make sure that you're getting all the data of where and when your music is being used, so that when you get your royalty statement from SAMRO, you're able to say, no SAMRO, these numbers aren't matching. This is when my music was paid and played. This is what your distribution schedule is saying, and there are some discrepancies. So if radio is a big thing for you, I highly recommend that you keep track and monitor those plays. But if you found videos like this useful, leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to keep on making these kind of videos. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video.